quiet as it's been all day.
Yeah. Okay, this may be your problem right here. The shock behind.
Yeah.
That's probably what we're feeling. Okay? When this car, when that...
Do I need to move back forward?
Now, make sure what happens. Top links up, bottom links relative level, body rolls down, the birdcage actually rolls down, it rolls out of the shock. Now, but then, wait a minute, the wheel's coming up, so really the shock is not moving. You don't have a shock. That's why I'm feeling what I'm feeling in the middle.
All right.
So, I couldn't figure out what the hell it was. Finally, I seen the shock was at the back. Somewhere around a 3-valve, straight up. It don't have to be a tie down or anything, just pretty neutral shock. And up front, when it's smooth. Out here right now, somewhere around a 4-valve. Good to go.
All right.
If you run a linear Bilstein, their numbers are like a little bit stiffer. So a 2's like a 3. In those shocks, what I really like on a 4-link car is a 2, which is a 20-valve in compression, and a 30-valve in extension, and it's fully linear. It's a real linear shock, and those numbers can grow, get bigger if you hit rough spots, and actually be that softer, a little softer when it's not.
All right.
And they work good all the time.
So definitely put
They're
that one,
pricey.
Definitely put that one forward?
Yeah.
Forward.
They're a little pricier, but and they're hard to get the linear stuff. But if you do get the linear, make darn sure that they give you linear. And the other thing is insist on low gas pressure anywhere on the car.
All right.
Okay. If you do go to that quality, I'm not saying you got to go to those shocks, but this, you don't know how old these shocks or anything.
This is brand new.
Are they?
Yeah.
You may take that shock to the front. That shock may not be that bad. I'm thinking it's bad. Hell, it ain't moving. You know. So before you start spending money, you're just getting started. Car's turning in good. It's doing well. So you just start spending a lot of money. Put that shock on the front.
All right.
You'll have to get a little eliminator kit to go over it and put it up there. Check your wedge. You got scales?
No.
Can you get some?
Yeah.
Get you some scales. Don't do anything, pull anything off till you scale the car. And do it with you in the seat or the weight of you in the seat. And all your air pressure set, half the fuel load that you know, or your average fuel load, everything that you're going to do, just do all that, set it on the scale, make sure all your air pressure and everything is right. Make sure your scales are setting on really level ground. And these cars, when you scale them, you got to remember that those tires, anytime you jack this car up, the front breathes. So if you set it down on the scales that can't roll, it's a good idea to have some sand on the floor and set the scales on those where you can scoot, or a sheet of metal with 2 sheets of metal with grease in between it. Grab the front of that car, yank it sideways till it settles, yank it up and down till it settles. Come to the back end, and always have an axle out when you scale it.
All right.
All you gotta do is take one axle out and slide it out. When this car goes up and down, the rear end goes forward and backwards. And if all you done was jacked it up and let it down the scales, it could hold 50 pounds of wedge in the car, and ain't no way it's got 50 pounds of wedge. Just make sure you got everything relaxed as close to the way you can when you do scale, and then go to work on it. Pull the shock off, put it to the front. It's not bad. It's not bad. Not bad at all.
When he puts the shock up front, so that would be like a coil over?
Yeah, they make a coil over it. Yeah, but you can do that.
You leave the spring the same place.
You leave the spring in the same place. You just put the shock in the middle of it. And the whole reason for that, it would take an ungodly stiff shock on the right rear because of birdcage movement to, catch up there. But not bad, fella. Not bad at all.
And when I'm just driving too hard into the corners when I'm way more sideways than you are, it feels like, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I really can't hardly reach your paddle good, but you want to make sure that you don't over throttle. I know you're just getting started doing this.
I know I'm over throttling too.
But, you know, the track is not going to offer but so much throttle. And drive it in, try to look way deep, try to look to where you think you're going to pivot at. Drive it in that area. And if you drive it in too hot and have to lift too hard, it's going to tail. Mm-hmm. If you can drive in coming up real fluent, smooth with your gas, a little bit of brake, get to that point, the car will be straight. It's tracking. Always thinking about it another way. If it ain't tracking, you're doing something wrong. If the car is good. Right now the car's pretty good. So think about it that way. Now when you get in the middle, right there in the middle, it's time to accelerate. That's when I'm having this little issue, and I think it's the shock. And it is the gas. I can't reach it right. But in that middle right there, it's time to go forward. Well, you got one down. If you get one down, that's one of the hardest things to get with all of these race cars. And this car's really got one down as good as any car I've drove today. So if you get it into right there and it's time to start going forward, and it spins out on you, you hit too hard a gas, you started the back wheels, and you spun it out. Just give it the amount of throttle it takes to just keep tracking and going straight. And then you actually, right in there, you can actually see some pretty good grip. By then the car's headed in the right direction, you can probably stand on it real hard. And now if you stand on it too hard in the middle of the straightaway, or when it hits a real slick, shiny spot, if you stand on it, the car grows and then busts the tires loose, then you're going to upset the apple cart. Then everything's got to settle down before you can get into one good. So even in the middle of the straightaway, busting the tires loose can actually slow the whole circuit down. Just be careful of that. But you ever drove anything else besides one of these?
Bombers and street stocks. Wow. So street stocks years ago, and I've been a bomber for dry slick for the last 2 years, and then never anything. This is the first time doing a touch track like this.
You're doing a good job, and just practice that stuff, and it's a lot about foot and the gas. Brake feels good, steering feels good on the car. I mean, it's an older car and everything, but it's not a bad race car.
We did. We put the hole in the power steering pump earlier. Yeah. We drilled that out.
It feels good now.
Yeah. Okay. It's definitely better than it did before.
Yeah, I remember now. I knew there was something earlier. I couldn't remember what you had to fix. I knew that you couldn't already turn it. It turns good now. So. Pretty good.
I feel a lot more comfortable in the car than I did prior to this. That 2 sessions out ago was by far the hardest I've ever ran it. This is the first time I ever got the temperature over 180.
The mistress is good.
Make you some more? All right. All right, buddy. Good job. What do we got next?